We have had some freezing rain, a little bit of rain, and now some snow coming down, and we have a crew standing by live. Rick Griffin, can you tell me how conditions have changed?
Well, Janetta, I can tell you that the winds have picked up a little bit in the last hour. Of course, the overcast is beginning to thicken. A little while ago, I could see the moon through the overcast. It was kind of thin then, but it has thickened up. The snow, although it is quite light, has picked up a little bit in the last 15 minutes or so, but still not enough to wet down the road surfaces like on Route 211 here in Middletown, just to my left. So it is a light snow. It has turned a little bit colder. I would say temperatures now have dropped down into the low 30s. Janetta?
Well, Rick, what are the Department of Transportation crews doing to prepare for this?
Janetta, we just recently talked to the New York State Thruway Authority. They have crews on standby, 9 crews on standby tonight, to be exact, to salt and sand and plow Interstate 84 if need be. Interstate 84 is very close to Middletown here. The 9 crews are responsible for the 38-mile stretch between the Pennsylvania state line and the Newburgh Beacon Bridge, which is over towards the Hudson Valley. And they tell us that if we get the 3 to 5 inches of snowfall that's expected, it's really not a big problem for them. They could get out there and clear the highway off in a big hurry.
Okay, thanks a lot, Rick. Try and stay warm, and we'll check back with you a little bit later.
Right.
Well, we have other problems across the country, especially in the Northeast, in the form of some mix. In other words, rain and snow and sleet and that kind of thing. As we look at the current surface map, we'll show you that we have, in the orange shaded section of this particular map, that's where the mix is. That's where the icy conditions are. Freezing rain primarily being the big time problem. Notice we have a coastal low that has developed here, and low pressure systems have a counterclockwise rotation, so that's pulling the moisture out of the Atlantic and throwing it right back on top of you there in the Northeast. Also notice that we have one round of precipitation here, another round here, and a little bit of a break in between. So you will see a break overnight tonight and then more precipitation moving into the Northeast. Temperatures hovering around the freezing mark, or a little bit warmer actually, in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. 36 right now in Albany, but in Burlington we're looking at 31 degrees. So this is crucial right here as to whether or not we're going to see some freezing on the bridges and the overpasses and the trees and the power lines, obviously. Looking once again at national radar, just want to point out this band of precipitation across the Northeast and another round that will be moving in your direction, probably overnight tonight and just in time for rush hour traffic tomorrow morning, the LIE, the I-95 corridor, not to mention the Merritt Parkway and the Beltway. So some problem areas, no doubt about that. The forecast does call for 3 to 6 inches of accumulation. Some of the higher elevations may pick up a little bit more, and where Rick was reporting, we could see about 3 to 5 inches of snow. So a lot of things happening across the Northeast, primarily a lot of snow, unfortunately. In New York City, we have seen well over the average amount of snow every month this season, and it looks like March is going to be the same. In April, you know what? You don't usually get a whole lot of snow, about an inch on average. We'll see what happens this April, because this has certainly been an unusual season. Well, we'll look at the rest of the country and the forecast, and we go back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Janetta. Here's a look at our current surface map. There's the low pressure that's causing all the trouble for us here in the Northeast. You know, we're making a big deal about this 3 to 5 inches of snow, but we've had so much snow so far this season. We've gone over the top. Today, as a matter of fact, in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, they picked up 1 inch of snow, and that took us up over the top for the season. 84 inches, an all-time record for Williamsport. Meanwhile, here in Chicago, we've only had, what, 24, 25 inches of snow? We've gotten off easy, and this is just virga. This is precipitation that's not even reaching the ground, not even on the south side. Here in Indianapolis, where we've had a heck of a snow season, it's raining. Temperature 42 degrees. This disturbance also moving east, and there'll be a lot more clouds and rain and some freezing rain in the valleys in the Northeast the next couple of days.
parts of Pennsylvania right through here, unfortunately. So we are talking about icy conditions there, even an ice advisory in effect for parts of Pennsylvania. Ice storm warning for south central mountains, and we expect some icy accumulations. Now in Philadelphia, it's all rain right now. Same is true in Baltimore. New York City has had a mix of snow as well as rain and even a little bit of sleet. So you've had a little bit of everything in that particular area. Now a little bit north of New York City, right about here, is the town of Middletown, and we have a crew standing by in Middletown. We've been asking Rick Griffin what's been going on all night, and now the snow's really coming down, huh?
Janetta, the snow has definitely picked up in the last 45 minutes or so, and it is all snow, by the way. I don't see any sleet or any rain mixed with the snow here in Middletown. We're about 85 miles northwest of New York City. Looking at the grassy surfaces around me, I do not see any accumulation. However, the temperature is right around freezing, and if it continues to snow like this, there may be a light dusting very, very soon. Janetta?
What kind of preparations are they making for rush hour tomorrow morning?
Well, Janetta, earlier we talked to the state police, and they have indicated that this area has received a lot of snow so far this winter. Folks are certainly getting prepared, but they didn't think that 3 to 5 inches would cause too many weather-related travel headaches tomorrow morning. The road crews are ready to go. The DOT here in Middletown has crews on standby through the night, and should conditions deteriorate more than right now, they're ready to get out and salt and sand and plow the highways.
Okay, good job. Thanks a lot, Rick. We'll check back with you a little bit later on tonight.
All right, Jenna.
Well, we do have some other things going on across the country. As I mentioned, the freezing rain across Pennsylvania, the snow in New York State, and now we're going to take a look at the current surface map, because we definitely have two different areas of low pressure. Here is the coastal low that is forming. Here is the other low hanging back a little farther to the west. So what's happening is a low pressure system, if you remember from your meteorology lessons, has a counterclockwise rotation in the upper airflow, in the wind flow. So as that pulls the moisture in off of the Atlantic, it dumps it right back on top of you across the Northeast, and we are getting, where we have the orange, freezing rain right here, some snow and some rain. So in New York City, you're getting a mixed bag, like we used to say, and in the form of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Now, interestingly enough, temperatures are hovering a little bit above the freezing mark in New York City. Boston reporting 38 right now, 30 in Burlington, and we do have some freezing temperatures in central Pennsylvania, hence the freezing rain. Look out on the bridges and the overpasses. The trees and the power lines could get some icy accumulations on them, and we may even have some power outages. We'll have to wait and see. Here's our first round of precipitation. Then we have a little bit of a break in the action before the next round of precipitation, and that is scheduled to move on into the Northeast later on tonight and early tomorrow morning. So you may get a bit of a break, but don't think that it's all over, because we do have another round of precipitation moving in. Snowfall forecast, not as much as we had anticipated at one time, but we may pick up about 3 to 5 inches of snow where we have the darker purple shading. Now, it's been quite a season, as you well know. In Boston, every single month of this season, we have seen more than the average amount of snowfall. In other words, more than you usually get. During the month of April, the average is an inch. So we'll see what happens. So far, this season has been quite a snowy one, so we'll see what April brings for you in Boston. With a look at the rest of the current weather and the forecast, we turn it over to Dave in the studio.
Thank you, Janetta. We have got some inclement weather just about everywhere you look. Northeast, Midwest, Southeast, Northern Plains here in the West. Well, let's have a look at it. At least the good news is there's not one big storm that's giving us fits. All right, we got a little snow here, of course the sleet and the freezing rain back into Pennsylvania, down into the Greenbrier Valley here in the central Appalachians, as a matter of fact. But here it's all rain. All rain. Indianapolis, temperature in the low 40s. Chicago, nothing happening. Here in Detroit, a few sprinkles right on the south side of town. Cincinnati getting in on a little heavier rain here over the next couple of hours, but we can handle that kind of heavy rain. Further south into Florida, there we go. We've got some very heavy rain now. Palm Beach County, thunderstorms. These thunderstorms produced winds that put some power lines down on the ground, knocked out the power to some folks who can't even see the Weather Channel tonight in Lakeland. Hope the power is back up here shortly. Here in Miami, we were up to 83 degrees this afternoon. Oh, and we'll pay for it with a few showers and thunder showers later on tonight. But the severe thunderstorm watch that was in effect has expired and has not been restarted. No reports of severe weather here, but some heavy downpours headed your way into Dade and Broward County. Then we get a little break in the action. Then here's